Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to balance a chemical equation. Today I'm going to show you how to balance Na plus Cl2 yields NaCl. In other words, I'm going to show you how to balance sodium plus dichlorine yields sodium chloride. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel after watching this video. Now, let's get started. The chemical equation that we're going to balance is Na plus Cl2 yields NaCl. So in other words, we are going to balance sodium plus dichlorine yields sodium chloride. Okay, let's balance this chemical equation. The chemical equation is at the top of the screen. As you can see, the screen is split into two sides. The left side focuses on the reactants and the right side focuses on the product. Both sodium and chlorine are on the left side and the right side, because both sodium and chlorine are in the reactants and the product. Now let's list out how many of each element we have both in the reactants and the product. How do we do that? Well, we can look at the subscript, and that subscript will tell us how many of each element we have. Let's look at Na, or sodium, on the reactant side. For Na, you cannot see the subscript, but the subscript for Na is 1. Because there is no visible subscript attached to Na, we can assume that it is 1. It's 1 sodium for the reactants. Let's take a look at the Cl for the reactant side. For Cl on the reactant side, the subscript is 2, so we have 2 chlorines. Now let's look at the product side. For Na, there is no subscript attached to it, so we can assume that there is 1 sodium. It's the same thing for Cl. We don't see any subscript attached to Cl, so we can assume that there is 1 Cl, so there is 1 chlorine. So we have listed out how many of each element we have, both for the reactants and the product. So we have 1 sodium both on the left side and the right side. These numbers are equivalent. However, for the chlorine, there are 2 chlorines on the left side and 1 chlorine on the right side, so these numbers are not equivalent. But we have to make these numbers equivalent in order to balance out this chemical equation. So what can we do? We can put a coefficient in front of NaCl, or sodium chloride. We can put down a coefficient of 2. So that 2 affects both the Na and the Cl, so now we have 2 sodiums on the right side and 2 chlorines on the right side. If you take a look at the screen, you can see that we have 1 sodium on the left side and 2 sodiums on the right side. These numbers are not equivalent. However, for the chlorines, we have 2 chlorines on the left side and 2 chlorines on the right side, so these numbers are equivalent. Now we have to make the numbers for the sodiums equivalent. How do we do that? We can put a coefficient of 2 in front of Na. Remember, we're talking about the reactant side, so the 2 affects the Na on the reactant side, so now we have 2 sodiums on the left side. If you take a look at the screen, you can see that there are 2 sodiums on the left side and 2 sodiums on the right side, so these numbers are equivalent. Also, there are 2 chlorines on the left side and 2 chlorines on the right side, so these numbers are also equivalent. So I'm just going to put a 1 in front of that Cl2 so that everything is filled in. Now we have a balanced chemical equation. Now everything is balanced, so we have 2 Na plus 1 Cl2 yields 2 NaCl, or in other words, we have 2 sodium plus 1 dichlorine yields 2 sodium chloride. I hope you understood how we balance this chemical equation. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned from this video, and please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Please support us as we create and provide educational videos, so please hit that subscribe button. Also, stay tuned for more videos.